What's up, everybody? Hello, hello, good evening, welcome. Today is what? Wednesday? Tuesday? I don't even know what day it is. What day are we in? Oh, Wednesday. It's the 18th, 2020. Let me know if you're in the house. Comment below. Start submitting your questions right away. We're going to be talking about some critical topics this evening. And I want this to be a very engaging conversation between the audience and myself, you guys. I know there's a lot going on in the marketplace. There's a lot of uncertainty. So I thought I should, come on and start talking to you guys about a couple of things that I think is going to be very effective during this time of crisis, okay? Some of the topics I want to cover is the financial flu, okay? Which comes after the storm, after the thing that everyone has their eyes on right now. What you really need to be concerned with is the financial flu. Is it coming your way? Have you prepared? Have you set your things up properly? Okay, so we're covering that. The next topic I want to cover is Feds lowering interest rates. Where should I put my money if I'm debt free? Okay, so Feds lowering interest rates. Where should I put my money if I'm debt free? Should I refinance my debt? And should I stop doing velocity banking during a crisis? Okay, or during any, I should say, natural disaster or any major or global event. Does velocity banking need to be held back? Should I be concerned? Do I need to rearrange my strategy a bit according to what's going on in the marketplace? So those are the topics that I'm going to be covering because those are the questions that I've been receiving mostly in the last week, I should say, now that everybody knows what's going down. All right. So, hello to Jonathan, Chris, Nakinya, Outdoors Media, Joel, how are you? Rafi, Terry, Marcus, Virginia, Adventure Prime, how you doing? Got 29 people in the house. This is great. So what happens when I give you guys a bit of a notice, and you guys can plan accordingly. Sometimes I just go live with no warning, so I'm gonna start getting a little bit better at that. But all right, this is what I want to get into first. Is the financial flu. Okay. Some people got it already. Business owners, regular people, working people, whatever it is. Some of you guys are really going over the top in terms of your own personal financial situation. Got a lot of people that are doing irrational, unlogical, unreasonable things with their money, such as buying a ton of stuff that they don't need, or they're hoarding a bunch of stuff. I should say they're doing like 10x. Now, I put out a post saying that you should 10x your preparation. Now, I should have said according to your situation is what I probably should have said, right? But I was just trying to be a little bit humorous during this time because a lot of people are frantic and are genuinely scared. And, that's part of life. Things are going to happen that are outside of our control. Something I've been saying recently to a lot of my clients and on previous videos, and especially on the last live stream that I did, is that a crisis is simply something that you have no control over. It's an event that you have no control over. How you respond to that particular crisis will determine whether it was a good thing or a bad thing for your life, okay? So you can consider every event as a crisis, right? A baby being born, that's a crisis. Is it a bad thing? or is it a good thing? How you perceive it will determine that. So you want to separate what everybody is saying, right? You want to get away from the crowd right now, especially when it comes to financial topics. You got a lot of people saying some irrational stuff right now. Just, it blows my mind how the masses follow that, right? And you want to be very vigilant. You want to look things through. You want to read. You want to research. You want to study, educate yourself. You got all the time in the world right now to educate yourself, relearn, unlearn what you think you know is going on, and operate in your kingdom, in your own household, in your own economy. Assess where your personal economy is at. Assess it and avoid the noise, okay? Listen to your instincts, okay, and stay focused. So regarding the financial flu, you got a lot of people that are just, they're flipping out, all right? And I want to give you guys some practical tips, tools to stay engaged with your personal finances and your ultimate, your financial goals. So right now, because I'm sure there's a lot of people in a lot of different areas where a lot of things are shut down. Schools are shut down, okay? Businesses are closing, restaurants, bars, movie theaters. So you should, for people who have like subscriptions, you should be cutting off those things right now. Did I spell subscription right? Oh God, I'm terrible at writing and I'm terrible at math. But that's okay, because I'm a king. I understand how things work to a certain degree. So anyways, if you got subscriptions like you got an AMC movie theater subscription, you're paying $20 a month. If you got certain monthly subscriptions to a particular business, or I don't know, just evaluate anything that is like wasteful that you really haven't been paying attention to. Reassess those things, because you probably don't need them right now. I think now is the perfect time to reevaluate your ultimate financial goals and lifestyle goals, okay? There's a lot of you in here watching that want to start businesses, okay? You want to build a business, and maybe you want to write a book, and now you have more than enough time to accomplish this thing. Let me give you a quick story about Grant Cardone. I recently attended the 10X Growth Conference 4 in Las Vegas in February, and his wife was telling a story about Grant Cardone, the two of them, their family, during the 07-08 crash, right? And she was saying how Grant Cardone, Uncle G, 10X man, was terrified, in complete fear, like scared to death, didn't know what he was going to do. And they reassessed, they reevaluated their situation. Wife got aligned with Grant. They both got aligned together on what their goals were. This man went into conservation mode, like he talks about. He went 10x in terms of his productivity and work ethic, while everybody else was freaking out during that time. He was working, and in a matter of like a couple of hours, because I think the story was like she basically like kind of like, you need to save us and get this thing going. You can't be fearing for our children. You need to go to work, be the man, right? So that's how she was explaining it. This man went into his office or room at the time, and 3-4 hours later came out with a manuscript for a book, right? And like, I think published it, and just basically, obviously, if you see his YouTube channel and his presence online, his business overall, his clients, I mean, the guy is just killing it right now, even in the midst of a crisis. So he survived the 08, and he's going to push through this one as well. And so that's an example of a lot of you that have been sitting on your gifts. Okay, you've literally been sitting on your gift, watching Donald Trump every day post a new video, go live, the Democrats talk, the Republicans talk, right? You've been sitting, you're listening to all the sermons about end times and revelation this and revelation that, you know, and oh, you need to pray, and you need to pray, and you need to do this, and you need to do that. You're just listening to too many people, when you really should be focusing on your kingdom mentality, your kingdom thinking. You need to get aligned with God's will for your life. Not everybody else's life, your life. What did God put inside of you? Where did He hide your gift? How can you pull it out to avoid getting the financial flu? Okay? Pull that gift out, because now is the perfect time to expose your gifts, your talents. Let me tell you, everybody right now is watching other people, right? So you have the biggest audience ever right now. There are so many people on the internet doing nothing but just watching content all day long, wasting time, because they're home stuck. They can't go to work because their business or job lay them off, or they close down. So they're home with the kids. They're watching movies and TV and just burning time like no other. Terrible, terrible, terrible. You need to be capitalizing on this, okay? Please, please. You need to be capitalizing. Write your book. Start the business. Oh my God. You know, right now is probably the perfect time to start a business, because it'll spark the most creativity in your life, right? When you have to do something, right? When you have to do something, creativity will spark. Ideas will spark, inventions, thoughts, business plans. So if you're someone that's struggling financially and you need a way out, trust me, you're going to figure it out. After you're done praying and crying and all that stuff, then you come right back to logic, and you're going to take some action, and you're going to get out of that mess. I'm saying now's the perfect time. For those who say are not in terrible, terrible situations, but you are a little concerned, you have a little fear, a little worry, a little doubt, right? But you have that gift, and now's the time to unleash it. I'm telling you, you want to spark some creativity. Now's another perfect time, in my opinion, if someone that's never been in business before, to get into sales, right? Find a company that sells a product that you're passionate about, know about, have some knowledge about, that you would feel comfortable selling their product because they have a good product, because maybe you're a product of the product. You buy it yourself, right? So now's the perfect time to get into sales, because other companies are laying off the bozos that haven't been producing, that haven't been committing to expansion and taking action. And you can come in and get the perfect deal. Telling you. Probably get the perfect deal, negotiate the perfect deal. So sales, and I think another thing is probably very, very interesting that you might want to check out. Network marketing, multi-level marketing, direct sales. I bet you that there are so many of these network marketing companies right now that are on sale. I bet they're on sale. What I mean by on sale is the barrier to entry. The entry level is cheap right now, more than likely. They probably have so many deals, so many offers, so many opportunities, like zero fee this, start your business for $100 or $50, and you can sell a product, sell a service in the midst of a crisis. Trust me, nobody else is doing it. So now's the perfect time to get in, learn, adapt, reinvent yourself, and start committing to expansion to avoid the financial flu. Okay? I'm going to stop it right there, and let's look at some questions real quick and see what we got here. Hello, everybody. Hello, Snap. How you doing? Jonathan. Hello, hello. Let's see. Not everyone but the stores do not need to be bare. Okay. Mr. Diesel, hi. Just found out my HELOC only does checks and not revolving. Damn. That means you didn't do your homework. Oh my goodness. I hate when that happens. You're most likely not my client, if that's true. Please double check. Okay, so if your HELOC only does checks and it's not revolving, then most likely it's a home equity loan and not a home equity line, if you're saying that. But please double check. And then you said, could it work? The answer is no, because it's a amortized loan. It's a loan. That means you have to write the check, you take money out one time, and you go do whatever it is that you wanted to do with that money. But in terms of paying it back, you can't put all your income in because you're not going to be able to take that income back out to pay bills. So that is a critical mistake that a lot of people make when they think they know what they're doing about velocity banking. They watch a couple videos and they just, it's terrible. I hate seeing that. I have a whole series on how to qualify the line of credit, how to find it, where to find it, the best ones, the interest rates, the requirements, the steps, the process, the everything. Yeah, he said he's a newbie. Yep, you're a newbie here. Yep, that is unfortunate, my friend. I wish you would have spent a little more time on that. Okay? Let's see. Yeah, Adventure says probably do need something better if that is the case. It's very true. John Darby says, do they charge a fee for the check? Most likely not, because it's just like a straight shot, like boom, loan right to yourself. Oh no, he said something about 90 days. You have to take money out within 90 days. Oh man. Auto Bank says audio subliminals. Nice. Is my audio good? Well, I don't know what that means. Let's see. I've used the velocity banking with crypto, and it's an amazing combo. Okay. Crypto is like dirt cheap right now. Crypto dropped more than 45%. So if I'm someone that was thinking about getting into crypto, or if I have some level of knowledge around that, my goodness, like a month and a half ago or so, that thing was at like $9,000, $10,000. Now it's at like 5,000. I don't understand the crypto market, but I do understand that when something drops by 45% or more, that's a perfect opportunity to probably buy if it expects to go right back up. And that's a great way to like double your money over, basically just holding on to a particular asset such as crypto. So very interesting. Very interesting. Mr. Diesel, you said you have a 10-year draw. See, wait a minute. Wait a minute. If you have a 10-year draw, that would imply that it's revolving, because that's one of the requirements. It needs to have a draw period, meaning I can draw money out of it for a temporary period of time, so that would imply it's revolving. So you might want to check that out, my friend. You might have a good debt tool, but I don't know. Sometimes, you know what sucks? The loan officer, a lot of the times, doesn't understand the concept, the velocity, but most bankers don't, because they don't teach it in their banking, because it's cheaper to just sell people loans. It's a lot easier. It's an easier sales conversation. Quick, done. The masses get it. It's easy. And they make more money. Henry Mahone says, need to schedule a one-on-one call. I'm here. I'm available. Hit me up. I'm available. Says, hello, kingdom. Cool, cool. All right. I want to make sure I stay on topic because I had so many things I want to talk about. I want to make sure I give immense amount of value today. Ms. Du said, nah, just heard about you through a friend. Yep. Okay, hope that was helpful. All right. I'm a little bit behind on the comments, so forgive me. Let's see. Audio's good. Okay, great. Hold up. Why not do a home equity loan to infinite banking whole life policy, then infinite bank velocity banking that way? No, no, no. It's not going to work. Oh, no, no, no. That's not going to work. You don't want to do velocity banking with a loan because you don't want to get caught up with the debt. You don't want to get stuck in that debt trap. That's like a bit of a debt trap. It's kind of like borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. You do a debt consolidation move, but you still end up with the debt. So I don't like it. I don't love it. Let's see. I just spoke to the bank and they said no, it's a HELOC, but only checks allowed. All right. Gonna have to double check that. Okay. Adventure Prime says, nice, like the IBC, but Mass Mutual has taken over a week to approve me, so just waiting on them. Usually the underwriting process is about 3 to 4 weeks. And if you have a pre-existing medical condition or anything that pops up from your medical examination that might take a little extra time, they might ask for more details and whatnot. So that is a bit of a lengthy process in terms of starting the infinite banking concept. So just to be aware of that, if the agent forgot to tell you, it's about a 3 to 4 week window. Sometimes it's super fast. I don't know why. Just some people just get approved really quickly. I remember for me, it took about 2.5, 3 weeks before I got my approval. So, bit of a process. Okay, the next thing I want to get into is Fed's lowering interest rate. What does it mean? How do I comprehend it? There's a couple of people that I really liked listening to recently over the past 2 days. If you check out this one channel called Minority Mindset, to do with a turban, super cool guy, funny too. He's got like really good editing in his videos. Very straight to the point. Tells a couple jokes, but then really gives you some really good value. So I would check him out. He's got a lot of content pushing out right now because of everything that's going on. And then there's another guy, similar build like this, lighter skin, slick back hair, Spanish looking or maybe white, not sure. But just type in recession in Google or are we in a recession or something like that, or anything about this crisis. He most likely will pop up regarding finances. And he's been giving some great tips and some really interesting stuff about, the Fed's lowering interest rates. Okay? So if you didn't know already, the Feds did lower interest rates to 0% or 0.25. So very, very very low. Okay, so it's at 0, right? Now, I'm probably going to butcher this because I'm not that educated on it, but I'm going to take a swing at it either way. I'm comprehending it according to how I do my finances with velocity banking and infinite banking. Okay? So something that's really cool to mention is prior to this global pandemic, right? Prior to the life insurance companies, okay? Mass Mutual, right? The 4 major mutuals. Guardian. Just name those 2 for right now. These life insurance companies lowered their dividend rates before this even occurred. I think they knew something was going down. I just wanted to mention that. Okay, just put that out there. Life insurance companies, they lowered their dividend rate a little bit. I believe they knew something was coming. Okay, so that's one thing, right? Jot that down. Just write life insurance companies, the big ones, either lowered their dividend rate or kept it the same. It didn't go up for 2020. It either went lower or it stayed the same. So I noticed that. I was like, huh, okay. Here's the next thing. Prior to the Feds lowering interest rates, according to these YouTube channels that I follow, and it makes perfect sense when I look at the market and when I look at different stocks, is oil companies. Okay, oil companies, specifically, what is it, Russia and the Saudis. Okay, did I spell that right? S-U-S-A-U-D-I, Saudis? Please tell me I spelled that right. I don't want to butcher, country here and get whacked because I'm talking about them. But Russia and the Saudis produced a lot of petroleum. So they increased a lot of supply. And from my friend, I think I saw him in the house, Marcus Williams. If you're in the house, please comment on this because I'm sure you know about this. You're someone that buys diesel. You buy gas, you buy oil. I know you're in this. So this might be pretty interesting to you. Is I guess they have some beef. Russia, Saudis, right? These major oil producers. They increased supply. I think Russia was getting put sanctions on or whatever reason. I don't know. But they did not. They kept producing product. Then the Saudis came in and they produced a lot of product. And then they lowered the price of oil by $6 or $7, I believe. So here you have a lot of supply and not enough demand, right? So that caused oil stocks to plummet, right? And this is before what we're seeing now, okay? So that was interesting. I was like, okay, what we got going on? What are we doing here, guys? We're trying to make sense, trying to comprehend what is the financial play here. What is the financial play while all this media and distraction is going on? What are the wealthy doing? And how do I copy them so that I can live through the storm and thrive through the crisis? Because if I can understand just how money works, how money moves, oh my goodness, my kingdom is going to look big and beautiful, dangerous, intimidating, threatening, right? It's going to achieve a lot of things. We're going to do a lot of good, okay? In the world, we're going to get aligned with what God has for our lives and our purpose. If I'm to successfully, efficiently, am I saying that right? Efficiently produce and manage God's resources, I must understand how the economy works on planet Earth, right? According to the country that I live in. So if I live in the United States, I must learn how the kingdom of the United States operates so that I can rise above that system and then get in alignment with God's kingdom. Financially speaking, not spiritually speaking, not citing prayers and knowing scripture. I'm just talking financially, understanding how to manage God's resources. Okay? Very, very important. I just kind of want to keep it in that sense. So we got two things that occur. We got the oil companies, life insurance companies lowering their dividend rates or keeping it the same. And now coming up to this point, Feds lowering the interest rates. What does that mean for the average Joe, the average American? Basically, you're able to right now, okay, I want to make sure I'm talking to a specific group of people here. For those of you who have great credit or decent credit, for those of you who have debts that have a relatively high interest rate, or you say you've had a 5 or 6% mortgage rate. So those people, right? So I'm a select certain group of people here. People with good credit, people with great credit, number one. People with cash and savings. People with debts on mortgages, maybe car loans, personal loans, student loans. They cut interest on student loans, by the way, I think with the government ones, not the private ones, I think the government ones. So those of you who have debts that are a relatively higher interest rate, like, you know, you got it years back when that was a good interest rate, now it's not, okay? There is a chance or possibility or potential for you to go and change some things up with your debts. You have the opportunity right now to probably obtain 0% debt tools or very low interest rate debt tools, according to velocity banking. Be very clear here. Talking to people that understand the velocity banking concept. For my clients, for people who are beginners, just starting out, you might want to either renegotiate if you're already in the process of obtaining a debt tool, such as a credit card, a line of credit, or a HELOC, whether that be in the first or second position. Pay attention to the rate that you're getting, because you could probably get something less because of what the feds did. Not only did they lower interest rates, but they also stimulated the economy by injecting over $700 billion, I believe, to just hand money to the banks and institutions so they do not go under, so they do not fail, right? Big corporations, big companies are borrowing at 0% right now. And what they're doing is they're buying all their shares of the company while they're plummeting in value, just so that when we get out of the crisis and the price of things go back up, they'll sell it back to you clowns who then buy those stocks at those high rates, at those high valuations, when they're not exactly valued in reality at that level. So they bought it super cheap, all the shares, while you were selling off your stuff like a clown. A lot of people selling off their stuff, right? Taking your losses and run, so to speak. And the company, right, they got all their stuff back and they're waiting. We're going to get through the crisis, because every event, every crisis will pass. Every storm, every hurricane, every tsunami, every tornado, every major catastrophe, natural disaster will pass. As long as the earth endures, it'll pass. And so when it passes, then these companies will sell all those shares back to you. The news comes out, says, hey, we've recovered, right? You're going to hear it. We've recovered. We're strong. Economy's great. Doing good again. They're pumping belief and hope back into the system so that people come back, right? So I think there's a huge financial play here going on. A lot of you who have 401ks, I bet this is 2008 all over again. Comment below if you have a 401k. Let me know. Have you checked your statement? I know I spoke to a client, said he already lost 50 grand. People lost 60 grand, 40 grand, 20 grand. You know what people like Dave Ramsey are saying, and the Susie Ormans and all them? Hey, you know, this happens. Dude, what? I don't lose money. Like, when it comes to creating wealth, managing wealth, producing wealth, Grant Cardone, Ray Dalio, Warren Buffett, billionaires, okay, or billionaires in the making for Grant Cardone, but guys like Warren Buffett, Ray Dalio, okay, these guys always say it. Do not lose money. Do not lose money. Do not lose money. Do not lose money. Because when you lose money, my God, do you know how long it takes to recover and then just to break even and then go positive? And by the time you do that, the next crisis hits, right? And you end up, when you're 59 and a half, you end up with, I don't know, $500,000 in your 401k, $1 million, maybe $2 million. That ain't enough. That ain't enough. Promise you right now, not enough. So I know a lot of people have jumped ship in terms of their 401ks, and Grant Cardone mentioned something very interesting. He was like, if you are in the stock market, you know, now's the time to go over to real estate. And I think that's a good analogy. I think that it's very interesting to say during this time. And I think it makes sense because of how low they put these interest rates. Okay? So let's see, anybody have any thoughts or any advice or anything that they've been searching or researching that they would like to add into this? I want to make this very valuable where people can rewatch and also read the comments of what other people are saying. And hopefully we can cultivate something that we can, okay, I'm going to move forward with this. I'm going to move forward in this direction. Okay? Let's see. Joe Flores says, now is the time to buy in. I totally agree. Totally agree. But it's unfortunate if you're someone that was previously buying and now you're losing. So it's like to make that decision between, okay, cut my losses and run, or hold out and wait for it. Now, depending on how you went down, I think really determines. So if your money went down in a 401k, you don't have control over that money. So you have to wait God knows how long to recover. Now, if you're like other YouTubers who do index investing or dividend investing, or they invest in Forex, stock options, futures, right? Different unique strategies. What they do is while the market goes down, instead of waiting for their money to lose money, they make and they place bets about how far the market will go down, right? They place all these bets. So the valuations of whatever stocks or portfolio they had, so if say they're doing dividend investing, those people don't care how far or how high or how low the actual stock goes, because they'll continue to be given cash flow each and every month. So it doesn't matter for those guys. See, with a 401k and IRA, you're not getting cash flow on a monthly basis or a yearly basis or a quarterly basis. If you're someone that's doing dividend investing with your M1 Finance or Robinhood app or any type of brokerage account, and you're doing that strategy, this is probably the perfect time for you to buy a lot of crap, like buying the airlines, buying the cruise ships. They're hurting. They're hurting right now. And I bet there's going to be some billionaire out there that's probably going to buy an airline or buy a company while it's super low, while that original owner is suffering, and they're going to get that business on sale and then ride through the crisis and blow that company out of the water in terms of revenue and sales when everybody starts traveling again and tourism bumps up and all that good stuff. So very, very interesting stuff. This is interesting stuff. I'm telling you, you get this stuff now. Okay, you get this stuff now. If you're anyone in the house here that's in their mid-20s, 30s, oh, get this stuff now. You'll be set for life. If you're in your late 50s and 60s, it is never too late. I'm telling you right now, you still got another 30 years in the tank. Don't give up now. Okay? Recover, reassess, avoid the financial flu, avoid the noise, focus on your purpose in life, your gift, so that you can push that through. So very interesting things here. Let's see. Kind of want to just read questions that are pertaining to what's going on. So if I skip over you, I'm not doing it on purpose. Okay? Peeps should at the very least invest the amount your company matches into 401k. That's the free money regardless of market wins/losses. I'm gonna have to disagree with the term free money. Right? When a company gives you a match, that ain't so free. You know why? Fees, annual fees, management fees, and fees, and then losses on that supposedly free money. And then when you reach 59 and a half, oh, the taxman is going to get you, right? The taxman is going to hit you hard with that ordinary tax. So I don't know how free that money is. So I don't know. It scares me. Let's see. Billy Flower says, all this happened too soon for me. I just started my policy in January. Hopefully by next year, some time to invest. Yeah. You know what's awesome about people who have policies in place? Dude, we didn't lose a dollar. I didn't lose a dollar so far, right? So I think that's good to know. But Joel says, now's the time to jump into stocks. Yeah, I mean, I bought like 10, 15 shares of Delta, bought a bunch of shares of Carnival Cruise Line. They're like less than $10 a share right now. It's insane. So Delta, American Airlines, freaking JetBlue, Carnival. Oh, these companies are just so Boeing, buying Boeing right now. Buying them. I'm buying them. If you have the cash, please don't borrow money like a clown to go invest in the market to try to ride this crisis. No, don't do nothing crazy like that. Please focus on your own personal finances. If the original intent, the original goal for your kingdom was to get out of debt, please stay on track, getting out of debt. Do not worry about investing yet, okay? Please, if you're in those positions where you're just making under $5,000 a month, couple hundred, maybe $1,000 in cash flow per month, get your line of credit. I think now, right now, for some people, like I said, good credit, decent credit, great credit, decent income, you still are employed. I think now is the perfect time to most likely get a line of credit, whether that be a credit card, personal line of credit, or a HELOC, okay? Again, I'm talking to specific people here that have been going through the process of obtaining a line of credit, and now is probably the best time, I would say. And I've been testing it for myself, and what I've done so far on both the personal and the business side, since I don't need another line of credit or debt tool, what I did was I increased my existing debt tools just to have the extra capital for what if, okay? So with Bank of America, I have a personal credit card with them for $15K. And during this crisis, this global crisis, right, I increased it to $20K. So I went up $5K. Then my American Express, which is a business credit card. No, I went from, forgive me, I went from 7K to 12K. Oh, that was beautiful. And then my Capital One, right? Capital One, another business credit card. It's like a super low credit card for me. It's got a $700 credit limit, and I requested an increase. With Capital One, you're not allowed to ask what you want. They just approve you. And man, they was a little shy. They gave me $100 for my increase. I was like, wow, okay. I think because they knew what I did over here, I don't know. But so I increased 100 there, 5K there, and 5K there. So I increased my credit lines overall by $10,100 during this crisis, right? And I believe that there is a select group of people, majority, probably my clients that have successfully been implementing velocity banking for the last year or two. Oh my God, what an opportunity. What an opportunity. Pay attention. Pay attention to the financial news. Not the, updates on this and what you should be doing. You already know what you should be doing. Stay clean, wash. It's not like you wasn't washing already, right? Your hands and your body and not touching your, I know I have a problem. I touch my face a lot and I bite my nails. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But I've been cutting back a lot, okay? But for the most part, you know what to do. Pay attention to the financial news. Pay attention to the financial markets. I'm telling you, it's gonna, it'll do you so well. And follow different YouTube channels that really preach good information. Like I said, Minority Mindset, and then there's another guy, similar beard, and I like him. I like him a lot. He putting out some good stuff, some really good stuff. All right, let me read some other comments here. Okay. Jonathan Jones, so specifically Ally Bank was at about $35, if I'm remembering correctly. Now it's at 12. Damn. Yeah, Bank of America is down. A lot of banks are down in valuation right now. So I bought me some Bank of America as well because I was like, shoot, I bank with them. I want to keep them going. I like what they're doing. I don't know about Wells, but Bank of America, yeah. Let's keep them in play. They know what they're doing. Let's see. I'm just surprised that gold and silver are no longer the safe havens. Gold should have gone meteoric by now. Meteoric. I can't say that word. By now, and silver. Yeah, well, I think gold and silver is still a good place to hedge money. Maybe not make a lot of money, but like kind of like putting our money in an infinite banking policy. It's not the place that's going to make me a ton of money, but it is the place that's going to hedge against inflation and taxes on saved money throughout the years in terms of how that money grows dividend wise and compound interest. So I'm still buying gold and silver, right? Does anybody know what the price of silver is right now? Is it below $15? Because if it is, buy the hell out of that, okay? Gold, did it drop? Can anyone comment that? Please give value if you are knowledgeable on that topic of gold and silver. Let's see. Jonathan Jones says, I would watch day to day if you see everything start to come back as a whole. That is the time. Yep. Let's see. Saronda says, those matches can be misleading. My company matches 8%, but it's 100% on 4% and anywhere between 0.5 to 0.25 match on everything else. Yes, they say they match you dollar for dollar, but on how much of those dollars you actually put in. So there's a, yeah, that's all a game to me. Let's see. The poker, the tax you pay isn't that higher than the benefit of a 401k match, question mark. I do contract work over a full-time job anytime. Okay. You buy in now, it always recovers. You only lose when you sell in your individual account. 401ks always recover as well. They are heavily indexed invested. That's not, I don't know. Depends on what the 401k is invested in. To my understanding, a lot of it is mutual funds. Okay. But again, yes, I agree with you that 401ks do recover. But the fact that I had to lose 30% of my value in the original account every 5 to 10 years, it doesn't make sense to me, right? To go through 40 years of work, 4 decades, and each decade there's a market turn, market recession, market reevaluation, market correction. What if I could make money when the markets go down? And what if I can make money when the markets go up? See, with the 401k, you only make money when the market goes up. So yes, from probably 1980 to 2020, even though we're in a down market, it's still much higher than what it was in 1980. I get that. But the fact that I had to lose money in 1990 and then lose money again in 9/11 and then lose money again in 08 and then now in 2020 I got to lose money again. Why not make money when the market goes down and make money when the market goes up? If you give yourself that opportunity, my oh my, the amount of wealth that you'll create in half the time that it would take to grow a 401k to where it's needed to be to actually live off of once you actually reach 59 and a half. Okay, so that's how I would kind of, address that. Mr. Diesel says Boeing is $99 right now. For real? Are you serious? Hold on. Because the last time I bought Boeing, it was at like 100 and something, like 110. Let me see. Oh my God. No, Boeing is 104.46, $104.46. And I believe I bought it like the other day when it was like 108. So it went down even more. Goodness. Now's the time to buy. Buy. Let's see. I'd revolve full pay through the policy in these times despite paycheck in full and spend with borrowings against cash value. Very interesting. Okay. John Darby says if you transfer your investment into cash right out the storm, you are poised to get back into stocks and bonds. I don't know if I want my money in cash right now. I don't know. Do I want my money in cash? I don't know. I would rather, in my particular situation, I'd rather keep my money in my policy, have it keep growing. If I'm going to borrow from it, I'm going to buy gold and silver and these cheap stocks right now that pay dividends, because that's the way I'm currently investing in the market, is I'm doing dividend investing, where I just pick particular stocks, and no matter what happens, as long as it keeps paying a dividend, I could care less. And as long as I keep buying more and more of it, and my rule is I only buy those particular stocks when they drop. That's when I buy them, when they're on sale. And then as long as they pay a dividend, wonderful. And then the stock goes up, cool. I think people will continue to fly airplanes, so I'm going to buy an airplane company. I think people are going to continue to drive cars, so I buy Ford. Or I might buy, General Motors, or the different parts, genuine parts, I think is what it's called. So I try to look at things that people will continue to do no matter what happens in the world. People will still fly planes, drive cars, buy homes, no matter what. It'll just keep going. So if you can figure out what you do personally, what do you do personally when it comes to like buying stuff? Like what do you normally do? You always take a vacation once a year? Okay, take a look at cruise line companies and airline companies that pay dividends and are on sale right now, if you're in that position. If you're not in that position, forget about it. Forget about it. Let's pay off debt. Okay? Let's see. How much success has anyone had with increasing credit limits without a hard hit? That's me. Every time I increase my credit score, I get a soft inquiry. If it's a hard hit, it's most likely because you're doing it on maybe a HELOC or a personal line of credit. But what do you care? Your credit score no longer matters when you're doing velocity banking for a prolonged period of time, because the banks see, holy crap, this dude paid off $50,000 in 6 to 9 months. And then he did it again the following 6 to 9 months. And then he did it again the following 6 to 9 months. Let's give him some more debt and see if he can manage that. Let's give him some more and let's keep giving him more. Because the more we give him, maybe we can make some more money off of him, right? I think that's how the banks respond to people who are credit worthy, is they want to keep handing you more and more debt. It's the only way they make money, right? So if I can get that, might be good. Let's see, Snapbean says, backed out of my 401k to increase cash flow for velocity banking, rolled the 401k to an indexed annuity with annual reset. Can't lose even if the market is down. Winning, quotation mark. Very cool strategy. Very interesting. I don't know too much about annuities, but I do believe they are effective assets or effective plans. Let's see. My company, Sharona says, my company also offers a Charles Schwab account. Could that be considered for buying stocks? I can move my 401k funds over there. Potentially, but I would rather get educated before I do anything. Before I do anything with my money, I want to become educated, right? To the point where I can understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? And once you get to that point, then okay, now you can tell me what to do. And you teach me something. I'm the 24-year-old here. You should be teaching me stuff, right? I'm the kid in this family. So you guys are the ones that should be coaching me on what I should be doing with my money, right? Come on now. Let's see. All right, so we went over the financial flu, how to avoid it. We spoke about Feds lowering interest rates. Now a critical, and then we also kind of covered where should I put my money if I'm debt free. And the next thing I want to talk about is, should I refinance my debt? Okay, because a lot of clowns are refinancing right now in the wrong way. In the wrong way. So should I refinance my debt? Okay. Here's how I'm responding to that question from my clients, existing clients. These are people who are doing velocity banking, doing infinite banking. They have good income, good cash flow, good credit, low expenses. We've already gotten past the basics. So I'm talking to people who are past the basics of finance, and now they're in velocity banking, infinite banking, real estate investing, 10x, Kingdom Authority. Those people. Listen closely. Here's a great way to capitalize on your existing strategy to either pay off debt or invest and create wealth. Is if for those who have existing mortgages and you've been doing velocity banking now for the past year or so, say you've got, according to your amortization schedule, you originally had a 30-year mortgage, original. Okay? Mortgage. 30 years, original mortgage. Doing velocity banking, say you're down to, I don't know, 22 years, right? You paid off all your cars, you wiped out all of your credit cards, student loans, personal loans, medical bills. The only thing you got left is the mortgage. So for those people, listen closely. Instead of refinancing back up to a 30, because that's what the banks are going to offer you right now at these super low interest rates, because they're trying to make money because they just lost a bunch of money, okay? Instead of refinancing up to a 30-year, why not refinance down to a 15-year and save 7 years in the process, in an instant? Say your original mortgage when you got it 8 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years, whatever it was, and you have a mortgage rate anywhere between like 4 and 7%. Originally, that was the interest rate. And now you're being offered a 3.5 refinance rate, no closing costs, whatever the sale is, right? Counter it to the bank and say, hey, I'd like to take a look at refinancing down to a 15-year rather than a 30-year. And you'll more than likely get the same rate offers that are being offered right now by these banks at these low rates. And you could potentially keep the same monthly payment that you're already making on your mortgage. If anything, maybe the payment goes up between $100 and $200. Maybe. If it does, you don't care, because all of that plus the renegotiated mortgage, majority of that mortgage payment is now going towards principal because you have a smaller term. And then couple that with velocity banking, with your existing personal line of credit, right? Or whatever debt tool you're using, oh my God, that's going to knock it down. And then for those of you who still have very good credit to the point where you could apply for a 0% credit card and get somewhere in the neighborhood of 20K and maybe do a balance transfer at zero cost, potentially, maybe just a balance transfer fee, and throw that on the principal of your mortgage, pay the monthly payment on this for 12 months, say it's like a 12-month offer, pay the monthly minimum on the credit card, couple it with velocity banking. Oh my God, guys, are you hearing me? You could knock out your mortgage in record time doing velocity banking, refinancing down to a 15-year if you're like 20, 25, and you have the cash flow. You're willing to sacrifice your monthly cash flow by maybe $100 or $200 if the payment goes up. But being that the interest rate is so low, you could potentially, there might be a potential there where the payment stays relatively the same. And now more of that mortgage payment overall is going towards principal. And then couple it with 0% offers, couple it with a line of credit, couple it with your infinite banking policy. Oh my God, you're on a roll. You're on a roll. Okay? So that's for those specific people. Specific people. Okay? If you're in that boat. Now, for my people who have, HELOCs in the second position. If you have a second position revolving HELOC, home equity line of credit in the second position, revolving, okay? Say you did a chunk recently, you're getting ready to pay it off, and you're wondering, should I chunk during this crisis? I would say before you make any chunks, and this would apply to every individual that is an existing client, if you are approaching zero on your line of credit because you've already made a chunk previously, paid off some debt, right? You saved a bunch of money interest, your cash flow's up, you're feeling happy, you're doing great. Now we're in a crisis. We don't know what's going to go down. So before you make that next chunk, can we apply for an increase on your existing debt tool? Can I get more? More capital? Why not? It's not going to hurt anybody, right? So apply for more, apply for increase on existing line of credit or PLOC, right? Or if you have a PLOC and you want to go to a HELOC, that could be interesting. I would apply for an increase, and before you chunk at any specific debt, right, to continue your debt payoff strategy, please leave room in the HELOC for any additional expenses that might come out of pocket due to this crisis. For example, let's say you have a 50K HELOC, okay? For all my velocity banking students, say you have a 50K HELOC, right? The rule is we only chunk, on average, 66% of the line of credit. So in this case, 33K. Now, depending on your four major numbers, guys, monthly income, expenses, debt, cash flow, if it makes sense that you have the ability to do this and pay off the line of credit within a 6 to 9 month period at least, or get it close to zero, before you do a chunk out of debt for $33,000 towards something else, say your mortgage or other credit card debts or anything like that. See if we can get an increase. See if we can get access to maybe a 0% credit card. And predict or try to predict what this crisis might cost you So for example, if you normally spend X on groceries and now you kind of want to have about a 1 month supply of food and water and other supplies, right? Toilet paper. Jeez, man, I haven't seen so many memes about toilet paper in my life. It's so funny. I'm like, why did that go first? Damn, do people think they're gonna be like eaten like an animal, and they're just gonna be stuck in the bathroom for the next 3-4 weeks? Like, what is up with that? I did not get that. I don't know. I got plenty of toilet paper, but I don't think I need 6 months worth of toilet paper. I really don't. I really don't. So anyways, if you wanted to have up to about a 1 month supply of food, water, and supplies, whatever that cost you estimate it to be in your kingdom, in your household, minus it from the chunk so you have space in your line of credit in addition to the 33% space that we always technically leave in the line of credit for emergencies and unexpected expenses. Okay, so I would just decrease your chunk a little bit. So it's not like you have to stop doing velocity banking per se, but we could adjust the chunk amount. That could be one thing. Before I make any chunk, now might be a good time to apply for some stuff. See if we can get access to other effective debt tools, such as a 0% credit card for 12, 15 months. And then I can run the food and supplies through the card, get cashback rewards, pay the monthly minimum payment, do my regular chunk, pay off more debt, increase cash flow, do velocity banking. By the time the credit card expires, the crisis is over, and you pay yourself back. Okay? So I hope that was super helpful for my existing clients, new clients, newbies, people that just signed up recently in my coaching program. And you're like, damn, this had to happen, a crisis or whatever. So any questions on that? And I'm gonna take a look at the board. Take a look at the questions and see what you guys are commenting, because that right there is what I would be doing if I was someone in debt, but I got good credit score and all that good stuff, and I'm doing fairly well financially. Fairly well. Okay? Let's see. Pick up where I left off. Billy Flowers, that would be ideal, but I'm still waiting on a loan. I submitted on the 5th, so if you did that, had no capital on hand, you couldn't pay your bills. Okay. That's why it's important to go with the top mutual companies only. I do loans periodically, never waited more than 3 days. Wow, that's fast. Yeah. Guardian, Mass Mutual. It'll be that fast when you do direct deposit. If you take out a policy loan with like the check, obviously that'll take about maybe 5 to 7, maybe 7 to 10 business days just to get the check, and then you got to deposit it into the bank. So that's going to take a longer process. I do that myself because I always take out loans way in advance, and I kind of like just going to the bank, talking to the bank lady there or the gentleman, and a little 24-year-old kid coming to the bank with a $20,000 check from a life insurance company, and they look at me with 3 heads. That's a great conversation starter for me. I can be like, yeah, that came from a life insurance policy. You know how I did that? Infinite banking. You should look it up. You don't know about it? Oh man, you should look up velocity banking. Take out your phone. Take out your phone. This is me at the bank. Take out your phone real quick. Type it in. That guy right there, follow him. He looks like me. He's not me. Don't worry. Follow him right there. I'm telling you, he knows everything about like velocity banking, infinite banking. Really, really good. You'll learn a ton. Totally free. No obligation. Just watch the video. See what it does for your life, right? But for those of you that you want your money fast, it's better to do a direct deposit when you're borrowing from a life insurance company. Let's see. Starting to get hot in here. Going fast. Hope I'm not going too fast for you guys. I know I usually I'm a pretty slow talker. I feel like I'm going fast. So if I'm going fast, let me know. All right, any questions pertaining to what I spoke about earlier? Jonathan Jones, Sharonda, yes, they will invest in mutual funds, which are funds that invest in a group of companies. So instead of just Walmart, it would be a wild sector of retail. So maybe Target, Walmart, Costco. Okay. So you're talking about the 401ks again, right? Let's see. Yeah, Joel. His name is Marco. There you go. That's the guy. That's the guy. So you got Marco and Minority Mindset. These guys got over like I don't know, like 500,000 followers or something like that. They're doing great. They have really good, effective content that works. It's valuable. They do not talk about velocity banking or infinite banking. It's still too small of a concept. It's not mainstream yet. Not mainstream yet. But they talk about basics of finance that do apply, you know? And they also talk about investing, creating wealth, and all that good stuff. The Marco guy loved his presentation on the current crisis that we're in. He talked all about the feds, talked about, you know, quantitative easing, and then whatever that other thing is called that the feds did. They did quantitative easing, and then they just pumped money into the economy. I forgot what that's called. If somebody knows, comment. What did the feds do in addition to quantitative easing? Yes, they lowered rates, but what else did they do? Okay. Snapbean says gold and silver are dropping due to margin calls. Okay, cool. The global demand for dollars is overwhelming during a crisis because of global debt levels. Silver is around $12 right now. Oh my God, I'm about to buy me some damn silver. Damn. I bought silver at, I think, $18 an ounce or $16, $15 an ounce. Oh, that's beautiful. Down. Silver is a buy once the dollar stops rising so crazy. Interesting. Interesting. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, Ford stock is cheap, waiting for a bailout. Yep, that's what they're doing. Where are you guys seeing the prices of these stocks? Miss Robertson, if you download M1 Finance or the Robinhood app, these are some quick, get to, you know, see what's going on right from your phone. I'm currently using Robinhood, and I just started using M1 Finance to play around in the market with free cash flow, not too much money. Got about like $2,000 with Robinhood and like $2,000 with M1. I'm trying to learn with small dollars, right? Trying to learn. That's what I'm doing right now. But I'm sticking to my craft overall. John Darby says, but Boeing is losing money and is requesting billions in loans from the government to survive. Yeah, that sounds great for me. Boeing is hurting? Boeing? Come on. They ain't going nowhere. They're not going nowhere. It's Boeing. Come on now. Come on now. I'm about to buy the hell out of Boeing. They're doing so good at them low rates. Get me those dividends. Hey Denzel, hope all is great. Do you have any recommendation for buying stocks? And if so, what trading company would you recommend to buy stocks with? Not going to get into that. Don't understand it. Follow that guy Marco. Just type in dividend investing in 2020. I would type that in. Dividend investing in 2020. And follow a couple of YouTube channels and see what they say. See where the correlations are at, you know, and that'll help in terms of getting free information. When you say waiting for a bailout, what do you mean? In positive light or when to buy? A bailout is, I think you're referring to the government bailing out the banks and the airlines and the cruise lines, because these big billion-dollar corporations spent all of their money on buying shares, and they have no money in reserves. And so when the market comes to a halt, because nobody's getting on cruise lines and nobody's flying airplanes, they don't have any cash reserves to keep the lights on, right? And that's the issue that these companies are having. The government cannot allow American Airlines, cruise lines, and big businesses to fail, because if that was to occur, then the other countries would lose faith in America's world reserve currency. And if America loses that title of being the reserve currency of the world, oh, you're going to have a big problem. You're going to have a big problem. That's when you really want to have some gold and silver. So that's why the government cannot allow big corporations to fail. And this is why the wealthy get all the free money. And meanwhile, you're over here paying ridiculous interest rates, doing debt snowball because of your pride, because you want to feel the pain of paying off debt. It's just ridiculous to me. Ridiculous, right? You got to wake up. It's the 21st century. Come on, man. And then Adventure Prime says the government is your money, and he's completely right. So the big corporations are actually taking from your tax dollars, and they're taking all that money and they're pumping it back into their businesses so that you go back out and pay them again for the customer service, flying the planes, going on the cruise lines, and all that good stuff. So you're like forever stuck in the system, right? How do you get out of the system? You got to know and understand how kingdoms work. The minute you start to understand how a kingdom works and how to become a king and rule and have dominion over the earth, then you begin to rule it, and you begin to live above systems so that you're not like bound by it. Very important. Okay? Let's see. Da Vinci says, why do you like Bank of America better than Wells? Wells Fargo had a lot of issues in the past with all them damn fraudulent stuff, so I got beef with Wells Fargo, man. I applied for a personal line of credit once with my stepdad and got denied. And that's when I learned that you have to build a relationship with the bank before you apply for anything. You can't just walk up into a bank and say, give me a line of credit. No, dummy. You have to take time, build a relationship, open up a checking and a savings account. Take time, dump your paychecks into that bank, show them trust, show a relationship. Then you apply. Jonathan Jones says, we are seeing prices on multiple platforms. Robinhood is free. It's not totally free, Robinhood. According to my other friend in the room here, Robinhood is not totally free. Yahoo Finance is good for prices. There are paid services as well, such as Scottrade. Cool, cool. Good, good, good. Adventure Prime says, use the monetary stimulus to your advantage and pay off that bad debt. Yeah, of course. Mr. Todd says, I was within less than a year of being down to my debt being only my mortgage, which is low, but now I will most likely lose my job. Happy for you guys that can take advantage of this down market. And you see, let me drop some kingdom stuff on you, Mr. Todd. Drop some kingdom stuff just for you, Mr. Todd. You got to get this. Okay? Your job is not your work. Your job is a means, right? It's a skill that you have, which is why you got hired in the first place. But your work, my friend, your work is who you will become. So you need to redefine your job so that you are not bound by the job. You need to understand what your work is, Mr. Todd. You as a man, when God created you in the Garden of Eden, the very first thing told you to do was work. Right? I think that was the first thing if I'm remembering Genesis chapter 1 through verses the whole thing. Chapters 1 and 2, the whole thing of creation. If I'm understanding this correctly, one of the first things God gave man, not female. This is before the female was created. This is before the woman was created, right? God gave man work. Gave man work before he gave him anything else, right? So, but your work isn't a job. Your work is like literally, as a man, you are tied to your work, who you are to become. And so then God went the extra step and explained it to you. He said that you are a king, that you shall have dominion over the earth and over everything that creepeth the earth and of all the animals, and you are to manage God's resources. Okay? So if you can get that, oh my God, you can never be fired from your work. Your job is simply a skill that will eventually lead you to your work. But if you wait too long to get to the work, then another man whom you do not serve can fire you because you didn't take the initiative initially, right? So now I want you to look at this, Mr. Todd, right? Talking just to you, my friend. I want you to look at this as an opportunity. The reason why you lost your job is I believe that God is trying to reveal your work to you, right? This is exactly what God did to me in the summer of 2018. I got fired from my job, and look where we're at today. Look where we are at today. If I would have not gotten fired at my job, I would not be talking to you today, giving you helpful tips, sharing with you about this velocity banking concept and infinite banking and how to pay off your debt extremely fast. Of the 500 people that I served between the summer of 2018 and up until this date, 2020, those people would still not have received this information had I not gotten fired from my job. You have to understand this, my friend. So Todd, take this crisis as the Japanese and the Chinese define crisis, which is an opportunity. They define crisis. Crisis means opportunity. So you have an opportunity right now to reveal to the world who you are in Christ, who the manufacturer, the creator, created you to be. And when you get that, you will be so wealthy beyond imagination. So wealthy. You won't even comprehend it. Okay? You won't even comprehend it. So work is to become, right? To manifest. Right? Right? To manifest or to self-manifest who you are, what your gift is in life. Right? And once you get that, everything else shall be added unto you. Says thus the Lord. Seth. Telling you, man. Y'all think this is religious talk. Nah, man, this is kingdom talk. This is kingdom talk, man. Religious people are telling you to pray. I'm telling you to work. Okay? Religious people are telling you to pray for a miracle. I'm telling you to work. Okay? Kings do not pray for miracles. Kings go to work. Lazy Christians pray for miracles. Okay? which is why they're still broke, majority of them. The Catholics too, right? We don't want to leave them out. Or any other religion for that matter. Okay, they're all telling you to pray and deprive yourself and all this stuff. I'm simply telling you, go to work. Because that was the original design that God gave you in the Garden of Eden. And he gave it to the woman too, through becoming a helper, right? And here's a shout out to all my moms that are listening. Here's a shout out to all my moms, right? Because you have been pressed down to such a degree in this social society where we push women down. We don't reveal them to the utmost value and potential that they have, especially our mothers. So for all the moms listening, I have a message for you, and I'm going to explain it through the purpose of man, Adam, in the garden, okay? Real quick. Give me a second here so I can explain this. Just for you moms here, right? So God created Eden, right? Eden is in God's presence, right? And when he created man, where did he put him? He put him in Eden, in God's presence. If you're in God's presence and you have a direct access to heaven, guess what? Worshiping and prayer is not required because you have a direct connection to him. What you do have to do is work. Okay? Right after God gave man, Adam, work to become and manifest, to self-manifest, he also gave him the next command, which was to take care, right? Care means to cultivate, right? And then the other thing he told him to do was guard the garden, which simply means to protect, right? And then the other command was to teach. Who was he going to teach? He was going to teach Eve, right? And his family, right? And then he said, I leave you with the responsibility of doing these things. That's man's role, right? Gave him all this stuff. Then he put Mr. Adam to sleep. And what did he do? God built. He didn't create. In order to create, you have to create from nothing. God did not create woman from nothing. He had existing material. So I want you to think of Legos, right? Legos. Think of Adam as a Lego. It's just a piece, right? Just a piece of Lego, right? And then God takes the piece of Lego, a piece of the piece, and he builds, right? Builds, crafts, takes time, right? Builds, takes time, right? And he built the woman. Okay? Here's what's interesting. This is a shout out to all my moms here, so that you can reclaim your authority and power that you have to help us cuckoo clown men that are just doing a terrible job managing their household, their kingdom, their household. Okay? God built you, which means that you are equipped already. So rewind. God did this to man. First he made him, then he put him in God's presence, then he told him to work to become who he is. So he hid a gift inside of Adam. Then he told him to take care, cultivate, guard, protect the garden, told him to command, teach, and you have the responsibility of all the above, right? Then God said it is not good for man to be alone. So he puts him to sleep, creates the woman, right? When he created woman, Eve, she was already equipped with everything that the man was already doing, right? So God defines woman as helper, as her role. helper. Now, you have to understand, think about this. If I wanted to lift this table, right? If I needed to lift this table right here, okay? Say I can't lift it, right, by myself. It's heavy. It's heavy, right? I can't lift it, okay? If I request help from someone to help me lift this table, the word help implies that you need someone who is as strong or stronger than you. So, oh my God. So when God made the woman and God was working the Eden, working the field, and he was becoming himself, here comes Eve along, who's already equipped with all the materials needed. Equipped. Intelligence, instinct, virtue, power, equipped. Mom, okay, and all my moms watching, you're equipped with everything. And now God's telling you to go to Adam. You got to help this dude out, this knucklehead, so he can learn how to work, become, take care, cultivate, protect, teach, and be responsible for all of the above. So here comes Eve. Thanks, Eve. We lift this table together. The only way she can lift that table, that side of the table, is if she is as strong as the man or stronger, right? And to knock down another thing that's been putting women down for so many years, where the Bible refers to women as the weaker vessel. This is a huge thing that men play on women all day long. It's terrible. It's terrible. The actual definition in the context of which God referred to woman as the weaker vessel is he simply meant delicate. The woman is delicate. Saying nothing, you can't play with this now. This is a delicate piece of material. Why? Because he built it, right? He didn't want it to break, right? He built this beautiful product, right? And the Bible only references, I think, one time, calls a woman the weaker vessel. He was referring to her, the woman, being a delicacy, delicate. It's valuable. Can't harm it. You must cultivate it, right? So for all my moms that are living in a household that is struggling financially, you're about to catch the financial flu, the Fed's doing this, you're worried about all this, you need to tap into that power that you've been already equipped with. This is powerful, man. You've already been equipped with this power to help him, the clown, so he can become the king that he ought to be. When he cultivates, you're the incubator. Anything he gives you, you multiply. Oh my God, this is the best investment there is. Anything you give to a woman, for all my moms, pay attention, pay close attention to this. For all my moms watching, because I got a lot of clients who are mothers, right? Anything you get, you have the instinct ability to multiply it. So you need to be giving him and advising him, the head of the household, right? And here's another thing that men do to bring down the women. I'm about to knock this last mountain down. Is that the man is the head of the household. Incorrect in terms of the context. Okay? The man is the head of the household, but he is not at the top. He is at the bottom. The man is at the bottom. Why? Because God made him first. So man is the foundation. He's got to become, he's got to cultivate, he's got to protect, he's got to teach, he's got to be responsible. So the man is at the bottom, dude. The woman's at the top, you fool. So anything from the foundation that gives to the woman, guess what? You put her in a house, put the woman in the house, you get a home, right? Children, offspring, right? Anywhere you put the woman, she will multiply it. Guess what you can do? Get the woman involved in your business, dude. She'll multiply it beyond measure. Oh my God. Right? You got to stop and think that the real way to avoid the financial flu, to all my moms, is Mom, you got to get involved. I'm telling you right now, you got to get involved. So that's a shout out to all my mothers. Hope that was helpful. Let's look at some of the comments because I know I got people going nuts probably. For all my religious people probably going nuts. They're like, what did he just say? The woman is the what and the this and the that? Oh yeah, read the scripture, man. You got to interpret it for what it actually means so that you can start living like a king and a queen, dude. Come on. So going back to Mr. Todd, hope this helps, man. Come on. So what? You lost a job, man. That comment was weak. Come on, man. You can do this. You have exactly what it takes. Let's see. Billy says, keep your head up and hopefully things turn around. They sure will. Come on now. They sure will. Raj says, I recently applied for the first LIEN HELOC on my property. I feel it is better than the second LIEN since I will be paying only one interest instead of two. One for the mortgage plus one for the second LIEN HELOC. What do you think? I am for both first position HELOC and second. When it comes to the first position HELOC, I think there's a process. So if I'm making $3,000 a month and I have a car debt, a student loan debt, credit card debt, personal loan, and a mortgage, I wouldn't jump to the first position HELOC because you still have those other debts. And now you're stuck putting all your income in and out of that HELOC, that first position HELOC, and you're going to get hit with a lot of interest. I would rather you pay off all of those smaller debts with, say, a personal line of credit or maybe a second position HELOC, wipe those out, maximize cash flow, start chunking on the mortgage, get it down to about like 40% or maybe 50% paid, and then wrap it up into a first position HELOC and finish it off very, very quickly. So that's my take on that. So sometimes it works where people just go right into it because they have the assets, the cash, and the capital, and the equity to do so, and it makes sense. Others is not the case. Nakinga says, I love Minority Mindset, very informative. Yeah, they're great. He's great. He's pretty cool. You know? Chris Lundy says, I'm still learning the velocity banking concepts, but I am interested in this revolving life insurance policies. Yeah. Learn velocity first, then transition to infinite banking, depending on your situation. You can look at both. You can look up IBC Global, very, very effective. Okay, very effective. Venture says, Real Vision is a great macroeconomic advice commercial lending facility. Cool. Good information. Trust me, if you got good information to give regarding the topics that we covered today, please comment your thoughts, because a lot of my people rewatch this and they look at the comments because sometimes the comments are just as valuable as the content itself. The conversations that are had, in between you guys. Hillary Duo says, what is the formula for chunking? Please watch some other of my videos where I go over the basics of line of credit, the rules, and all that good stuff. so I can, go further into that. But one of the formulas is 66% cash flow times 12, knowing your four major numbers. Okay? Let's see. My high yield savings account took a hit. Started at 2.34 and now it's down to 0.24. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Great information here. Savers are losers. Let me hear this one more time. Savers are losers because you're saving your money in an account that's earning less than 1%. And for those of you who have high yield savings accounts, the banks are probably cutting back and they're lowering it because they don't have the reserves to actually pay you those high yield savings accounts. So they cut you off, right? If you had an infinite banking policy, you would be at a level 4% guaranteed every single year, plus a surplus dividend, maybe 1 to 2% or higher. Okay? Come on now. Todd says, I work for a cruise line and love it, but scared of the future. There's no need to be scared, man. You just received the life formula, okay? You just received it. Now you must take action on it. Jonathan Jones, does anybody invest in real estate and look for returns at 10 to 12% instead of the national average percentage? Yeah, that's me. I look for 10 to 12% returns. Oh yeah. I made 20% on a fix and flip that I was a part of. I put 10,000 in, I got 12K back. Okay? That's what I look for. 20% returns, man. And they go higher than that. You got 50% returns. You got to watch Grant Cardone, man. The dude's making 100% returns. It's stupid. Stupid. The returns that this man gets. Miss Robinson's, if your cash flow is 500 or more, chunking is 66% of the credit line. Oh, great. Giving advice. Love it. Venture Prime, savings is the creation of capital, the accumulated possession calculated to bring income, accumulated assets, resources, sources of strength or advantages, then utilized in aid of accomplishing an end or furthering a pursuit. Building the kingdom, quotation mark, yes. Build your capital and savings during this time of crisis. I totally agree. So when I say savers are losers, it really depends on where they're putting their savings. So if you're saving your money in tax-free assets, wonderful. If you're saving your money in real estate, wonderful. If you're saving your money in the bank, scary. Scary, scary, scary. Do you suggest using a HELOC to start an IBC policy? Till now was saving up and investing in cash flowing property. Does it make sense to open up a policy using a HELOC, pull my money out, invest in cash flow property? To a degree, yes, if you have the four major numbers in line, good income, good cash flow, decent, good credit, existing capital or assets, yeah. Yeah, I know a lot of people that are putting their savings in a policy so that it can continue to grow, and then they take from their savings or capital or distributions from other assets like 401k, IRA, pension plans. They stuff it in the policy so it keeps growing tax-free. They pull from it, buy property, it cash flows, the cash flow goes back into the policy. They never lose the money in the process. Very, very important. See, when one door closes, two more open. Oftentimes, we become complacent and won't move when God tells us. That's when He will move us to make us better. Love it. What would be the chunk if you only have $300 cash flow? And how much would the emergency fund be? Should that be in separate accounts? So when I'm doing velocity banking, typically I let the client decide whether or not they want to leave their emergency fund or savings account out of Velocity Banking and just work with the 300. And then there's some people that will take their savings, shift it into the line of credit to help accelerate the Velocity Banking process without actually losing the emergency fund. And we'll be able to build it. Okay, so there's two options there. Two options. All right. I think I'm getting close. Getting close. Guys got great comments here. Okay, D says, hey Denzel, Dennis in Vegas. Oh, how are you? I still owe you my spreadsheet. Killed all my $58,000 debt. Now making first chunk on mortgage April 1st. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Making a chunk during a crisis. Unheard of. It's because when you understand how your financial house is operating, when you know your numbers, you know how to proceed in the midst of chaos, in the midst of a crisis. This guy is continuing to chunk in the midst of a global pandemic, a global crisis. Doesn't matter because he's focused on his kingdom, not what everybody else is doing. He's got a kingdom to manage, head of household. This man is becoming who he is. He's cultivating. He's protecting his house. He's teaching his kids. He's being responsible. Come on, man. He's doing kingdom work by the book. By the book. Let's see. Mr. Todd, Denzel, you should cut out the part you addressed me and share that as a separate video. God was clearly talking through you. Okay, you want me to like edit it and like create a... Yeah, I can do that for you. No problem. I felt it, man. I got a little hot. I was like, whoa. Like the Holy Spirit like kind of went right down the neck, started sweating, and he took over me because I wasn't supposed to be talking about God. You know, we're supposed to be talking about money, right? But, you know, sometimes he overtakes me sometimes, and I can't help it. I can't. It just takes over me. Let's see. Camille, do you offer partnership with fellow insurance agents looking to learn the IBC concept? The answer is yes. If you go to IBC Global, type that on YouTube, or you can click the link in the description below and it'll take you to their website. You can see all their information. You can reach out to them and let them know that you are a licensed insurance agent and that you connected with me on YouTube. You just tell them my name. They know who I am. And you can be an independent agent partnered with IBC Global and technically myself as well. You can learn the infinite banking concept through me and Mr. Steve Parisi on the IBC Global channel. And you leverage them to help you serve your clients that you bring. You work out a deal in terms of a commission split between IBC Global and yourself so that you can learn it, get taught, coach, learn sales, all that, how to develop a strategy for a person or an individual that is interested in the infinite banking concept. And that's a great way to cultivate a relationship in times of crisis. That's another big thing right now. If you're not cultivating relationships right now with people, take advantage of that right now. I'm telling you, it's huge, huge opportunity. Let's see. Hillary, please watch Denzel's videos on Velocity Banking. I've watched them all. It will blow your mind once you really understand it. Adventure Prime says, I will be learning IBC hands-on soon. Wonderful. Wonderful. So that covered all of my topics this evening, which was financial flu, how to avoid it, Fed's lowering interest rates, where should we put our money if we're debt-free, went over that, should I refinance my debt, and should I stop Velocity Banking during crisis? So we went over that. Great. I did what I wanted to do. Wonderful. And we're going to close out here. because I have to call my girlfriend before she goes to sleep and have a conversation. So I'm going to have to tune off of here in just a second. Okay. Hillary says, I have been a fan of Denzel, hoping to get his spreadsheet, but not sure how to get that. Fill out a contact form, and you get sent it immediately. You can also find it on my website in terms of the spreadsheet. You go on the resources, and you can download the spreadsheet there. I send that to everybody. It's a simple spreadsheet, nothing crazy. Simple, put your numbers down. You start tracking your finances, go from there. Tiffany says, I started Velocity Banking in November. Great concept, $30,000 down on my mortgage. Love it. Love it. Adventure Prime, will you be going live again soon this week? Of course. You know, there ain't nothing to do right now, right? Because, everything's closed. So, going to be creating a lot of content. So, stay tuned. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Just take a last peek at the board here. Get your notes in. And you enjoy the rest of your evening. God bless. Stay safe. Wash your hands. And have a good night.